All right, guys, welcome to the GAA podcast with me, Chris, Stephen Kelly, and from the GAA stronghold, Peter Cassidy.
Yes, the GAA stronghold of Leitrim. Yes. So this is our first GAA podcast.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Right. We had intended to do an Agony Uncles podcast, but
the conversation
took a GAA turn, and we're just going to run with a good GAA bit of banter.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not experts. We're just three Mayo men that like talking shite, basically.
Exactly. And we're good at that.
We're very good at that.
We've got lots of half-arsed opinions for you guys.
Exactly.
But half thought out.
Yeah. Right, let's get stuck in.
Oh, the green and red Mayo, I can see it still.
Corner of Leitrim that touches the coastline. It's the smallest coastline in Ireland.
Yeah. So
exactly.
How are you getting on?
I'm not too bad. I'm in Leitrim. It's where hippies go to die or retire. So there's lots of hippies here in Leitrim. So there's random English dudes with dreadlocks. There's dudes doing organic farming. Dudes doing a bit of surfing. There's dudes walking dogs that don't pick up their poo and stuff like that.
Louis Theroux on it and trying to get in amongst them.
Exactly. I hopefully I'll infiltrate them eventually. And I'll be passive aggressive when I'm asking questions like Louis Theroux.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful. I've been up there a few times with Pete, obviously, and it's a beautiful part of the country. You're right beside Bilbulbin. You have Donegal to your north. You have Sligo to your south. You have Mullaghmore to your west. And you're like, what's the name of the mountain that's sort of overshadowing your gaff?
Not giving the close away. Would be Pinwhiskin or Ballintrillick or I can't think actually. I can't think of the name of it now. There's a big telephone pole. Bilbulbin is not too far away as well. Yeah, Bilbulbin is we just can see perfect Bilbulbin. So it's lovely.
You come to that cave near Knocknasheep.
What, Jermid and Neves?
Yeah.
It's
which?
There's a cave.
Yes, I'm near enough there. Yeah, near enough there. I'm near enough there. I've never climbed it though. I think it's a experienced enough climb. I think it's a dodgy enough climb to get up to it.
Oh, is it?
Well, I think you might need. I think you might need ropes and stuff. I'm not too sure.
There's ropes there. I think there's ropes set up there for the last part of the climb.
Oh, is there? Is there?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. But I'm not too sure. I'm near Eagles Rock as well. If you ever go to Eagles Rock, it's a beautiful spot.
Plus, you're very close to W.B. Yeats's grave.
W.B. Yeats's grave. What's the writing on it?
Oh my God! How many times have I remembered this and forgotten it? In death, a horseman passed by. Oh, what the fuck? Brian Cawley will kill me again for forgetting it. If I could think of it quick enough, I can't think of
Brian Cawley, he'll be turning his grave. Brian Cawley will be turning his grave.
Dead yet.
Cast a cold eye.
Cold eye and death, horseman, something like that.
No, he's not dead yet.
But
I think it's the end of one of his poems because
but it's wrote on his grave. Like
what?
I was just about to say.
Yeah. Well,
surviving an aneurysm again, as I usually do in every podcast.
Oh, obviously.
when I got out of hospital, the first place I went for a walk or get a bit of fresh air was down to around that area, around Bilbulbin, and my intention was to climb up. I know it sounds crazy. I was only I wanted to climb up into them caves because I must have read about them before I had the aneurysm. And I got down, went for a walk, but by the time I got to where we were really climbing, my energy was just gone. I knew that I couldn't do it, and I always swore that I'd go back and I would finish that walk, and I will. I might even do it today. Well, not today, but one of the days.
We're today now.
A bit wet today. You might have the daylight. You might. It might not have the daylight now, but I actually we should climb it someday. Actually, I don't know. Well, I look into it to see if it is a serious climb.
Yeah. We'll have to go for a look. Have a look at what is very. It would be very nice, romantic for us.
Would you? We bring a picnic.
Well, I think it's tough. I think it's a tough climb. I think it's tough enough. Like it's dodgy in parts apparently because it's just on a face. Like
I think it's.
I don't know. I've only seen it from the road, so
I think it's on private land as well. So there's no trail up to it, like no trail.
No,
normal trail, like
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think the farmer might get moody if he crosses land or something.
Maybe
but sure, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah. Right. Well, how do we end? We ended the last Agony Uncles podcast with a dilemma or a question.
Well, I think the most important thing that we have to mention after the last day is that we had a big win on Sunday.
We had a big win on Sunday. Yeah, was it Sunday? It was Sunday.
Yeah.
The game was sort of like it was over before, like it was over at halftime. So as a spectacle, it wasn't really a game, but it was great for us because we could relax. Quite often Mayo have given us heart attacks in the last few minutes, but the game was truly over at halftime, and it sort of took away from the second half, really. Well, definitely after the second water break.
Yeah, I think the Mayo team definitely switched off to a certain extent in the second half as well.
But you're going to do that when you're 20 points up.
Yeah. They were
100%. I could. Because people were criticizing the defense, but like, would you give a fuck when you're fucking 16 points up?
No, we were 20 points up at one stage.
Yeah, like Killian O'Connor play the last day was
sensational. But I have said since I first seen him playing that he's outstanding forward, and I couldn't even bring up the fact that he's not a marquee forward. He's one of the top scorers in the whole of GAA history.
He is the top scorer.
Is he the? I thought so. He beat Colin Cooper's.
So record. last year he beat
Colin
Cooper's record back in the summer, and now he's almost 100 points ahead of Colin Cooper.
So how anyone can say that he's not a marquee forward, I do not know. Colin Cooper was quoted last year or the year before in saying that he was the best footballer that he'd ever played against or watched live.
He's a ruthless scorer.
Yeah.
He's class. He's unreal, and he's
28 too.
28.
Is that all he is?
He's got another easily 5 or 6 years.
He used to live actually with my first cousin Sean Kelly, who also used to play for Mayo, but he got badly injured. His first game on the senior panel down in Charlestown was I don't know, was it an FBD league game or a National League game? It was probably FBD if it was in Charlestown, because years ago they used to play at the National League games in different pitches around the counties. In the last few years, because the GAA has become that bit bigger and more money driven, I suppose. Yeah. All of them are at McHale Park or at their main pitches in every county. But they used to play them in all the different places. But this particular day was a torrential rain. The pitch was absolutely shocking. Sean went out and got literally stood in a hole running and just badly hurt himself. And that was his career over with, really. So
did he ever get out of the hole?
He's still there. We left him. Fuck him. But anyway, O'Connor, an absolute, I always said a genius when it came to football. Yeah, and wiry, like strong and ruthless.
Yeah. He seems like Sarnoskin too.
I think so. Yeah.
If he keeps on going and with the consistency he's had over the last couple of years, if he keeps on going like this for another 5 or 6 years, he could be the greatest footballer ever.
Yeah, one of the greatest forwards ever announced. But the only thing is, they have to mind him, I think, in them, them Mickey Mouse fucking league games. They have to fucking mind him because he could get injured.
I don't think he's played an awful lot of the Mickey Mouse ones.
Again,
was he even playing the final that we beat Kerry?
I think he was.
I think he was injured. He's injured.
Yeah. But I can guarantee you that if he's playing well, Mayo are playing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the only thing is they have to protect him. I think if they want to get 5 or 6 more years out of him, they have to protect him a bit more. And like he can't do because he's kind of injury prone. You know what I mean?
The only thing, a player like that, they don't want when they're playing. They don't want to come off.
No, they're full.
Yeah, yeah. But the only thing is, you see, he'll get targeted more. Like there'll be heavy tackles coming in.
Yeah, it's and as he gets older, maybe you'll have to look at that. But it's in.
Well, that's why I think they should use Aidan O'Shea to literally, like, make room for him.
Like some sort of enforcer. He should be some sort of enforcer, like in American football.
I think he hit 4-9 the last day because of the likes of Aidan O'Shea and Tommy Conroy. Those runs off and we're just making that space for him.
Exactly.
Dragging that extra man, you know. Especially that first, if you see the first goal where Aidan O'Shea lays it off to Tommy Conroy, puts it across the box. It's almost like a goal you'd see Dublin score.
Yes, very much so.
And he palms it in, but all that's work off the ball by the likes of Tommy Conroy picking up space and putting it across, you know.
Yeah. Or even McLaughlin giving a good ball in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the other McLaughlin went off injured. Any word on him? How is he getting on?
I haven't heard any injury.
I didn't hear anything like that. But do you know what I was thinking as well? Myself and my father were having this discussion about the backs. I wonder where Brendan Harrison went. Like, he's an all-star. Was he an all-star twice?
He definitely won one.
He definitely won one, and no mention of him at all. I mean, he would really sturdy up the full backs.
Yeah.
Was he? He's the Ahmore man, is he?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's injured. He could be injured.
I know he was injured towards the end of last year, I think, and probably just didn't get game time this year.
Possibly.
Yeah.
A lot more than
Just I don't know.
Yeah, like again, it's one of these that where you look at like that's the only concern Mayo have because they've been free scoring now, bar the Galway game.
Yeah,
the Galway game they scored 14 points,
14 to 13.
So they really weren't, and they kicked a good few wides in that game.
An awful lot of wides.
But if you
look, it was an awful wet day though, wasn't it? It was an awful
and windy. But Galway and Mayo games are always prone to have something like that. But we never looked. The funny thing is, we never looked like losing it, and I felt that a bit like the Tyrone semi-final a few years ago, we played down the clock, which is a very dangerous thing to do. But at the same time, we played it down so well that Galway only scored a point in the last couple of minutes. We just ran down the clock, and we've done that against Tyrone a couple of years ago. Do you remember that? That was an intense game, and I really, especially when we were on the right side of them. But
I think Mayo were tired. I think Mayo were tired for that Galway game. I think that's why they played.
Galway are a good side.
They had played. Was it 4 or 5 weeks in a row?
That's right.
As well.
Yeah. So they're probably tired. Like they're probably fucking wrecked. Do you know what I mean?
And they had a break then into the Tipperary game, so that probably stood to them as well.
Yeah. The only concern is that the amount of goal chances that we shipped, and if we give goal chances to Dublin, then they will take them.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the likes of Conor Callaghan is supreme forward.
Yeah.
Dean Rock, we all know what Dean Rock's going to do. You know, they're outstanding.
Yeah.
Kieran Kilkenny.
Yeah. We're up.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, this is a free. Like no one.
Yeah, no one expected
very
this
few
year.
people that are going to, and that's what we play into our advantage. We have a free shot at an All Ireland title, basically.
Yes. Sorry, there, that fucking thing fell there, lads. But fucking no, 100%. We have it's kind of like a free shot. There's no pressure on Mayo. They're not expected to win.
Like, I mean, we didn't even think this All Ireland would be going on in 2020.
Yeah. So they're not expected to win. I'd say Kerry are kicking themselves that they didn't get a stab at the Dubs.
I'd rather be here free scoring and having work to do on the defence than the opposite way around.
That's true.
Yes.
If Mayo were scrapping through games and hitting wide, you know, we've seen it before from Mayo.
Oh yeah. Even in games that we've had high scoring games, we've missed just as much. You know what I mean?
Whereas
our work rate is unbelievable. It's just that final kick.
And if you look at where Mayo got majority of their scores the last day, they were from turning over the ball, being hard in the tackle.
Yeah.
Not gonna like that. No team likes that. So
but the kick out, poor old Clark's kick out causes trouble, doesn't it?
The first 45 minutes, his kickouts were flawless.
Yeah. It's all about a confidence thing with him as well. He had a couple of nice And I know that's after what 13 years playing that you should be confident going in.
13.
Anyway.
He's been there 19
19.
years.
I thought it was 19. Was that 19?
Wow.
You
He's a
think-
great old goalkeeper, though, isn't he?
Great shot stopper.
The first, like the second one where Sweeney hit it straight Quinlivan hit it straight at him. That should have been rolled into a corner. But the first stop was against Sweeney the last day when your man cut and he got that extra stride and put out.
Yes. He made the angle small as well, didn't he? Yeah.
Forced him to go right into the shit side of the goal as well.
The thing is as well, if Killian O'Connor didn't score 4-9, we were looking at a goalkeeper getting a man of the match. Or definitely up there.
But like I suppose the last 10 or 15 minutes he hit a few poor kickouts and he didn't.
But is that because they pushed up more?
Definitely.
Yeah. So, like, what do you do? Like, I was listening to the Mayo News podcast. They have a good podcast on there, and I'm inadvertently giving it another. What did you say?
Not better than us, though.
I'm inadvertently giving another podcast a plug there, but not that I have any connection to them or anything. But I was listening to that podcast, and they were saying they had all different people on, but they were saying they were saying Horn has kind of changed it to a running game in midfield. He's not going for height; he's going for running athletes. Like
obviously with the choices he's making.
Well, Conor Loftus being in there is and he's also played Jermud in there as well. So he's definitely like with Matthew Ruan, he has got the height and someone with aerial ability, but he has someone behind him that has the legs to break through the lines and get into that half forward position very quickly as well.
Yeah. So is the mark very beneficial in midfield? Like,
I think it's I
think the mark should only be in midfield. Allowed. I think the rule should be.
No. I think it's good. I think it's good that if you have a forward, he's not afraid to go and catch the ball. Do you know what I mean? Without getting somebody nailed in the back.
If you don't have the mark, what you have is this over and back, not lose, because you can't lose primary possession. That's the rule now.
No, I know. No, I'm not debating the mark. I'm just debating as using it as a tactic in midfield. Do you know what I mean?
What in midfield, what Mayo are doing is as soon as they hit a mark, it's not like they're taking their time over the ball. They're shifting the ball quickly anyway. So I think that's whether they have the mark or not, it actually doesn't change anything, because as soon as they win that primary possession, their thing is about speed and getting into the forward line.
Yeah. But I'm saying could they like just say to Clark, just hit it in the one spot all the time and just have fucking 10 people in that one spot? Do you know what I mean? And just crowd it out.
I think what they have been doing is if for a lot of the games, once Clark's kicks it out, he'll put up a hand and they'll go either right or left, and you have fielders and your half forward or the half forwards that are dropping in there going in for a scrap around one area. So they are doing that anyway. The only problem is that if the opposition push up the way Tipperary did,
they create space then.
It doesn't matter if you go right or left. They've got an extra body in there to kind of crowd out the space anyway.
Yeah, it's a funny one. It's a funny
press. If you see the likes of Tyrone, they were Niall Morgan was bypassing a lot of the presses by going longer than the midfield, and they were putting it into that half forward line in that primary possession. They were picking up very quickly.
Well, that's the argument for Hindley's kick out, because Hindley's kick out is so much. Is it Hindley? Yeah, it's so much further. Do you know what I mean? But he's not as. I don't think he's as good as stop. He's not as good as a goalie as Clark.
Pressure with balls coming into him.
Yeah.
Like you saw there the last day when Mayo coughed up two chances, those early chances.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next one that came in long, Clark barreled out and caught.
Yes.
That's what you want to see from your keeper, that he's like, I ain't gonna fucking take a chance on this again. So he came out over Chrissy Barrett and caught the ball. Like,
Yeah. So you see, that could backfire too, because there was another one then when he punched, and he just got away. He kind of got away. He punched it away, but I suppose he couldn't catch that one. But that's what happened in the Cork game, wasn't it, against Kerry, the Kerry goalkeeper, or was it the Cavan game? The goalkeeper punched the ball, and then it just landed straight into the striker, the attackers.
I don't remember whether he got a point. He could have done. He could have done.
He got a goal. He got a goal. I think it was. It was one of the games, anyways, in the provincials. Yeah.
Look, the thing is, the games are happening so fast. So these are split-second decisions that these goalkeepers are made. Like, who would want to be a goalie of all the positions?
Oh Jesus, yeah.
What, like,
tough.
if you're in midfield, you make a mistake. You've got seven or eight people behind you.
It's true.
Like, if you make a mistake and you're a goalkeeper, you're fucked.
And you're setting up the play. You're setting up the play.
You saw for Mayo's third goal, it was just an aimless ball back to the goalkeeper, and Killian rushes in and pans it into the net.
Yeah,
gets there.
Well, then again,
that was the defender's fault. But again, that's the kind of possession that they're trying to keep now.
Yeah,
pressure and Mayo at that time was really high. What do you think about how Mayo will get on with Dublin?
It's hard to know, like, but sure, listen, they have to lose sometime, like, do you know what I mean?
An eventuality.
Yeah, they have to lose sometime. Like, even Tyson lost, like, even Muhammad Ali lost, even fucking the best fucking Formula 1 drivers fucking lost, do you know? I think if they can, Mayo can just get at them and create a bit of doubt, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stick with them. But I don't know. The last time they played in the semi-final, they came out, was it halftime or was it like
2 points up?
Me and Chris actually were in the Nally stand.
Nally, yeah,
with
Trays,
yeah. And the first half was unreal.
Oh, stop! We were fucking flying.
We were 2 points ahead. We went from 2 points ahead at halftime to 4 points down before I could even get back from a piss.
Yeah, so it was almost like Dublin injected fucking super juice into their veins. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're on the juice, like, but fuck, maybe they're all on the juice.
That was the theory,
the conspiracy theory. Yeah, but that's what's called in American football your championship quarter.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
You give it everything for 15 minutes. You give it that 15 minutes.
Oh, they killed the game.
They killed the game in that 15 minutes.
Like Conor Callan scored 2 goals within that 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And what happened with Mayo is that they tried to survive by just keeping short ball possession and just keep the ball. And all it did was give more impetus for an extra man to go beyond them every time. They actually, like, Dublin were unreal. They won the All-Ireland on the back of that 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They like...
Yeah. But you see, the thing is, when does that 15 minutes come? Does that 15 minutes come at the start, or does it come in the middle, or does it come at the end? Do you know?
You'd rather see it coming at the start, because then you can build back from it.
Well, Donegal won the 2012 All-Ireland
in the first 15 minutes.
In the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If you take the rest of the game, we actually outscored them for the rest of the game.
That's right.
The goal.
Yeah, and it's similar with Dublin. Dublin got the two. We got the two own goals. Is that the drawing game? Did they come back and draw that?
The drawing game, yeah.
The first half an hour that day, they had only scored 2-1, and they had got 2 own goals.
That's right. Didn't actually. None of the Dublin players had actually scored. Bar one.
I think it was one free kick. They hadn't scored from play.
Yeah.
In half.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
If
like their luck has to run out eventually. You're like, look, you listen to all that and you're like, geez, they've got the rub of the green. They've earned the rub of the green.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And I don't want to put them into two either. Like I said before in the last podcast, I'm a traditionalist when it comes to GAA.
Well, what I think the worry is that, say Dublin win this year, which they're heavy favourites for a reason, and they'll be heavy favourites next year. If they win those, then that's 7 on the trot. They'll probably get to 10. The effect of having 10 All-Ireland titles in a row. What like I think this was discussed the last day with the Meath manager McEntee and
Pat Gilroy,
and he's like, what's the long term? Or no, actually, I also heard this on the podcast before last year, where he had Colin Parkinson asked the director of the GAA. He goes, "Do you not see the problem with the effect of Dublin winning 10 in a row in the long term? Like if they monopolize 10 years of winning titles, what's that going to happen? What's going to happen in 20 years' time, 30 years' time? GAA is going to be dead. It's going to be fucked." And like as we're seeing rural depopulation anyway, so Dublin's only going to get stronger because they're going to get more people into the city, more talent into the city. The GAA in Dublin will get stronger. Small towns like Swinford or Castlebar or down in Kerry or Galway or wherever, they're getting weaker because the opportunities for these players, they're living and working in Dublin. They might play at home for their clubs, and then when they're in Dublin, they'll have kids in Dublin, and all your talent is going to stay in Dublin for the next generation.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the way it was going, but I think with this pandemic, things have changed. People are moving back out of the cities and working from home, and people are trying to raise kids in the countryside. So that might make a shift. Do you know what I mean? That might actually make a shift if they bring more industry back to the West,
So to counteract that argument, as Pete said, the last year, we ended up with two Dublin teams in the All Ireland final. That is.
Say that again, Steve. Your microphone's cutting a bit there, Steve.
Sorry, Pete. Shouldn't be.
That's okay.
I think it might be the internet lagging on your end.
Maybe
because you're
maybe.
What you said the last Pete was that we could end up with two Dublin teams in an All Ireland final, which is a very strong possibility.
Well, I think what Pat Gilroy was mentioning the last day was having groups of certain amounts of population. So if you look at the likes of the population of Leitrim and Sligo, like it, and he was talking about Cavan and Monaghan.
And he's also talking about Kerry and Cork. So that's not going to happen.
Never.
Well, yeah, like again, Kerry's probably Kerry, like Mayo, probably won't need to team up with another county to compete financially or talent wise.
No,
but Mayo's always going to have, because we've been top county for the last 20 years, and young lads play football in Mayo. There's no problem with getting young lads playing football. There's a conveyor belt of talent coming through Mayo. There always has been. There always will be to a certain degree, because the kids don't play rugby compared to the way they play football here.
Yeah.
Some, like I play a bit of soccer, and there's much more talent on the GAA players when they come in playing soccer. You know, lads GAA for their local club, and then they might play soccer after. So Mayo won't have that issue to a certain degree. They'll always have a certain amount of talent coming through. But what I would say is that Dublin's going to swallow up all the talent from other counties. Like Monaghan have done really well over the last couple of years, but it's not a tradition of doing well in Monaghan.
Yeah.
They've got a very small population. So would Mayo or would Monaghan rather compete in the long term by combining with other counties? Maybe
I don't think Monaghan would join up with another county. I don't think any county would want to.
Maybe they won't, but like
I don't think any county.
But
maybe Longford might.
Yeah, but like if you're an Offaly supporter now, right, and Offaly are famous for stopping the 5 in a row. Right. They've won an All Ireland title. You know, if you look at the way Offaly football has gone over the last number of years, it's embarrassing stuff.
Embarrassing, yeah. We even sent our best manager down to tea, and he still couldn't come up with anything.
I wouldn't say the best.
Who's your best manager?
John Mahon's the manager of Offaly now.
Was he still the manager of Offaly? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yes, yeah. Well, they'll be fit anyway.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Sorry.
But if you look at Offaly compared to the way they were looking years ago, even in the 90s, Offaly were.
Sure, we played Offaly in the 97 semi-final. They won the Leinster in 97.
Offaly aren't
Tell
going
me,
to...
I was at that game.
Like, I can't see Offaly challenging
That was the day
Dublin in the
Princess
next...
Di died.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, same day. Yeah.
But
That lady woke me up, and she was like, "Get up, Princess Di is dead." And I was like, "Sure, I don't care." Huh?
I didn't kill her.
But sure, I was only young. I was only a young fella. I didn't realize like what the crack was. But you know, when you're half asleep and somebody's telling you that somebody that you don't really know or have any interest is dead, and you're like, "Sure, what's it got to do with me?" Like,
it's that's. But like, Offaly aren't going to compete with Dublin in the next 20 years.
No.
Realistic.
well, Leitrim won a Connacht back in the day, but they reckon that's because they had a booming meat factory in Leitrim at the time, and there was loads of work in the factory, and people used to move to Leitrim for the factory. Do you know what I mean? And they used to have players. They had your man Darcy playing. We mentioned this last day, didn't we?
Yeah.
They went
And
they won the.
Yeah.
You
Pardon?
mentioned that in the Fred Cook podcast. That's how that came up. I don't know how, but it did.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know, but I think we'd be disgusted to see Dublin split into four, and then the quarterfinals or the semi-finals, 4 Dublin teams. You know what I mean?
That'd really kill it. I think what they're talking about first is restructuring the championship so it's fair anyway. So like, you can't have 4 Dublin teams in an All-Ireland semi-final. You wouldn't structure a championship if you're going to split them up. First of all, before that, you're going to have to restructure the championship.
Yeah. But how do you restructure the championship and make the weak team stronger?
The only way you can do that is if you let the 4 Dublin teams play against each other and the best one got into the championship. That's the only way, which is completely unfair.
Yeah. No, it's not, to be honest, it's not something that anyone has come with a coherent plan in place anyway.
Yeah.
This is just like, they're more looking, this is like haphazardly like talking about solutions without really thinking them out. But, you know, at the end of the day, the championship is a mess. It's provided a massive platform to Dublin to dominate, because even if you look at the amount of money they spend on coaching per player played, like Mayo is something like €20 per player played.
Mm-hmm.
Theirs is €247. They're spending so much money on developing these young talents, because they get, again, I was listening to this debate where it's like, they're getting money. They don't have to spend. They can spend their money from AIG, their sponsorship money, completely on the senior teams.
I get you.
Yeah.
Other money through development is coming through another source, which they're getting from government. So while they're spending 10 times as much as Mayo is spending on player development.
So what is the solution? Do you just, I don't know. You have to put it,
like, it has to be a redistribution, because like at the end of the day, is it about bringing all the teams up to Dublin's level of funding?
I think so. No, go on.
Or is it about trying to redress the balance by bringing Dublin's funding down and putting everyone else's up for a while and see if that works? I don't think anyone has the right answer yet.
I think no matter what way you do it with the I think the Dublin's funding is so far ahead that it would take years to level off. I really do.
It has to be done though. Something has to be done. It's going to completely ruin Gaelic football. Otherwise, but
they're not going. The GAA are going to keep the Super 8s. That's not going to be gone. They're going to keep something like that. They want more games.
Yeah, I think the Super 8s work to a certain degree, though.
They're very exciting. And
yeah.
like that is more more days out and everything like that for everyone. But again, more money.
What if they amalgamated? Is that a word? Amalgamated the league into the championship.
That's a theory that if you push again for like a premiership.
Yeah, like the Premier, like to be
32
honest,
county premiership.
that if a team has to go, I think the real guts of like a knockout games are really exciting.
Yeah,
but the true champions are the ones that go out and beat everyone else. Like
Yeah, but I know on a overall statistics, like the one that wins the most games should win. But that's a league base. But I think what if they had like a Champions League where there was group stages and then semi-finals and then finals?
yeah,
like a draw.
like
Yeah,
yeah. So
like this.
would you draw them across the country? Would you have across the country?
You see, people wouldn't want to get rid of the provincial championships either. You see, that's the only thing.
Like the only competitive provincial champion, well, the Ulster Championships are very competitive and the Connacht Championships are very competitive. But if you look at the last 15 years, Kerry have dominated Munster and Dublin have won 10 Leinster Championships in a row. It's a farce.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
Yeah.
Like,
but
you can't like all the Leinster teams have gotten weaker, bar Dublin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but you see, the traditionalists like Stephen over there would never want to get rid of the provincial championships. You see.
Like, what good's the Leinster Championship?
Well, it's no good now.
So what's the point in having it?
Well, I mean that's up to Leinster.
Like,
Stephen wouldn't get rid of the Connacht Championship. Do you know what I mean?
But there's only 3 teams in it. Sligo.
Yeah, but that's the
Sligo won it a couple of years ago.
They've won it how many times in their history? 5.
I don't know. Is it only 5?
I think it's 5 times.
And would you believe Roscommon have won the All Ireland? I think it's 5 times.
They won it 5 times.
I think so. Double check that too. Anyway, this has turned into a GAA podcast.
So sure, we might should keep it lit now with the GAA chalk, will we, or we'll go back to the Agony Uncles?
Yeah. We'll come back to the Agony Uncles again.
How many? All Ireland's.
Was it Dermot Early? Dermot Early used to play for Roscommon that time.
That's right.
I think. And I think he won a couple of Irelands. Did he? Or did he win 1 or 2?
So Sligo have won only 3 Connacht Championships.
Is it all?
They've won the championship in 1928, 1975, and 2007. So yeah, apologies for giving me an extra 2 there. I thought you had 5, Sligo.
How many have Leitrim won?
They've got 1.
They've only won.
I think 1995, isn't it?
Or 92, was it? Or maybe it was 95. 94, I thought it was. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Roscommon have actually only won the All Ireland twice, back to back, 43 and 44, but they have 23 Connacht titles.
And Leitrim have 2, 1927 and 1994.
All Ireland's?
Connacht.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, Connacht.
Have any All Irelands?
No.
Okay.
But is it going to be like
there's 3 teams in Connacht that are going to win?
Yeah, no, I know that, but like realistically, is it fair to chastise somebody for being successful, like to criticize somebody for being successful?
But it's like
no, I don't think so. I think I think all the other counties have to come up to Dublin standard. That's my.
But you think that they're going to come up to Dublin standard the way it is?
Well,
it's
up to every other county to come
like
up
they've
to
won 10 Leinster Championships in a row.
Yeah.
Then why didn't they come up to Dublin's standard in the last 10 years?
It's time to step up because Dublin. Well, remember that the Dublin football team are probably 20 of the best. It just so happens that the 20 of the best footballers that have dawned at a Gaelic
But
football field.
only if you look
In
at
the
the
last
2012 All Ireland
140
winning,
years.
if you look at the 2012 All Ireland winning football team, how many were in the team last weekend?
What, 2?
3. So you can't.
Collie,
So you're just
Billy McMahon,
Billy McMahon and Cooper was in
the
there, and
goalkeeper.
so you're talking about 3 of that squad were there for the last.
That's
10
8 years ago. A lot of things can change in 8 years.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that you're saying that everyone else has to come up to their standards. As simple as that. It's not, because they've got a thumb on the scale, because they've developed so many players in a way that no other team can compete with them.
Yeah. But
let's brief.
see, okay. Worst case scenario. Okay, so you're saying that Dublin are financially doping, right? That's what you used the last time. That's the term that people use, financially doping, as well as maybe doping.
Yeah.
You know, but like if it keeps going this way, like say if they win, like you said, say if they win like this year and they win next year, will people stop watching football?
There has been a drop off in the amount of people watching football. Massive drop off.
Yeah.
People aren't watching
like
Sunday game the way they did 10 years ago.
Well, I do understand that. No one wants to see a hockey in every
people
time.
aren't going to the Leinster final anymore. And why would they?
Yeah.
Dublin are so far ahead. It's like you can't say you're chastising them because they're winning. Are they winning fairly? I don't think they are, when they have so much more money, and that the way they can develop a team and bring new players through and keep them away from other careers, and all these different things, that if a young lad,
that's what I think that
they got rid of Diarmuid Connolly. They got rid of Diarmuid Connolly retired this year. Didn't matter. Didn't bother. If our marquee, one of our marquee forwards, if Aidan O'Shea decided to play this year, would we be in an All-Ireland final? Debatable. Because he's
of course, but they shouldn't be criticised for it. They should be applauded, and other teams should learn from them and try and use the same.
They're a phenomenal team. I'm not taking away how good a football team that they are. But I'm saying, for the good of the game, like it can't go on like this. It's ludicrous to think that we're going to take everyone else up to their standard. It's not going to happen.
Well, it's not going to happen overnight.
But I don't think the answer is splitting them up into 2 or amalgamating 2 counties together. I don't think that's the answer.
I don't think there's any good answers, to be honest. But
look, we could be
but
there's a possibility that in 2 weeks' time we could be looking back at this podcast and Dublin have been beaten.
Yeah, hopefully. And Mayo are one of the few teams that can compete with them.
Yeah.
But because Mayo can compete with them, doesn't mean they don't have an advantage. Because Mayo and Kerry
don't have an advantage. But remember as well your argument about only 3 players from 8 years ago are on this team. Success breeds success. It's as simple as that. If you win in All Ireland, I can guarantee you that if Mayo win the All Ireland this year, I can guarantee you that every lad that has any inch of talent at all, from the age of 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, whatever, will be out next year training as hard as they possibly can, wanting to be on that Mayo team. And that's just the way it is. And then in a few years' time, the chances are Mayo will probably win another All Ireland. And I do actually think if we had won one out of any of them All Irelands over the last few years that we've been in, we would have had a second one out of the same team.
Yeah, but like Cork won the 2010 All Ireland final, and where are they now?
Did they?
Is it 2010 that they won All Ireland?
Yeah, they did. But they had a walkout then after that, didn't they? Didn't they do the walkout? Cork did the walkout. The strike.
Cork in the last 10 years.
I don't remember that.
They beat was it Derry in the final?
I never thought Cork had won an All Ireland that recently.
Yeah,
I thought the last one they won was 90.
No. The one, yeah.
I think they won in the noughties as well, did they?
Hmm.
Or they definitely? It was 2010 they won, or 2009. But either way, that's recent. When you take out Dublin's All-Ireland titles, that is a recent All-Ireland win. So what happened before if success breeds success? I'm not saying that it doesn't. Of course, you're going to get a wealth of talent through after.
Then you could, on the other flip side, you could look at Tyrone. How many did they go on and win? They won
2008. They won three.
They won three, and it was
for a team that had never won an All-Ireland before,
and
been in one All-Ireland final in 100 years before that.
Down, didn't they win 2 in the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But football was competitive then. In the 90s, you had multiple different winners of the All-Ireland Championship.
That's right.
It's not competitive now.
That's because it was knockout as well. You'd only one chance. When did they bring in the back?
Yeah, but
Galway were the first team to win through the back door.
The back door, yeah.
Back door, 2001, was it?
2001.
And the only team?
I don't know if they're the only team. Did Kerry win through the back door? I'm not sure.
No, I don't.
Oh, I'm sure there's lots of teams that won through the back door. But look what they did with the hurling championship. They put Galway into Leinster.
Yeah, which I didn't agree with either. But then again,
well, what were you going to do? Just give them a semi-final berth?
Well, I don't know. Hurling is different because there's only one county in Connacht. But I felt as a token gesture to have at least one game in Connacht and then go into the Leinster.
I think you what's the point in Mayo playing Galway in hurling?
Well, it used to be Roscommon.
Yeah, no, it'd be like it's like junior versus senior player. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's just as you said, it's a token gesture. It means nothing. It doesn't benefit the team that gets absolutely hammered. They go backwards, and it doesn't benefit the team that go out and hammer them. It's a waste of time on their part. They'd be better off just training.
Well, use it as a training session if need be. But I used to love.
No, you can't do that to them. It's embarrassing.
It would still bring Roscommon or whoever through.
Have you ever gone to and played in a game and got completely embarrassed? It's horrible.
Can't say I have.
Pete, have you?
It's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, no, it is horrible. It's kind of like. Do you know what it's like? It's like when you're in school and you get that shiver up your spine when you've done something fucking stupid, or you get that shivered, cold feeling at the back of your neck. That's what it feels like.
It can make it can.
You know? So if the hurlers they make them stop playing it. Make them stop playing.
Yeah. What would be the point?
Maybe I don't know. I mean that's a very weak argument on my part, just purely to prove that I'm a traditionalist. Yeah,
but like being there's loads of brilliant things about being a traditionalist in the GAA. I think I agree that you should carry tradition through, but it's not good for the game. Leaving Dublin just to swallow up Leinster championships like they have the last 10 years, and to have an extra, it's like having an extra man.
I mean, another thing is, as Pete said, they no matter how much money they have or no matter how good they are, they will get beaten eventually. And when they, of course, I thought a couple of years ago they were starting to fail, and they just seem to get it back again.
But they developed more players.
I do know that, but don't tell me that there isn't 30 players in Mayo or 40 players in Mayo that cannot make it through to a senior team.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that there isn't.
And
what I'm saying over the long term,
give them jobs, or give them jobs that work around their GAA careers as they do in Dublin.
But you can't.
That can be done.
That can be done.
That can be done.
I'm telling you, you can't compete. Like local firms down in Mayo cannot compete with the rate of pay, the amount of money they're making in Dublin. You're
but it's a higher standard of living in Dublin too.
Of course, it's more expensive. What I'm saying is, if you're a young lad,
I don't mean a higher standard of living. I mean a more expensive standard of living.
But like, if you're in Dublin, which I've lived in Dublin, you are going to get paid better.
Yeah, because you have to pay out more.
So
it's like how much at the end of that is like this is
the different argument.
Yeah, no, I think we're going around in circles, but I think a lot of things too is that a lot of the infrastructure is in Dublin. Like Mayo players might be in college in Cork or someplace, and then they might have to travel down across the country to go to training on the weekend and then come back. You know, the young fellas that were in college, they're saying that was a big part of Dublin as well. You know, they're all in a hub together in the same place.
Yeah, I think McEntee brought that up the last day. He goes, a team like Mayo might half of their expenditures on their team might be trying to just get players to train, might be petrol and time driving in the car, and they might be living in Dublin. Have to like Chris Barrett is living in Dublin.
He trains with the Dublin club, doesn't he?
He probably does, yeah. But like then he comes down, like he has to go drive all the way across the country to go to train. It costs him
You
money.
see, that's tough.
Dublin,
That's tough.
Dublin don't have that. Like none of their players have to go more than an hour, if
Probably
that.
not, even less.
That's an advantage as well. That's a big physical advantage because you get more time training.
Yeah, I do. I understand that, but that's in saying that. I think that's the way it's been for the last 50 years.
Possibly, yeah, probably. But would a Mayo team have a lot of their players living in Dublin and coming down the weekends 40 years ago? No.
Flying Doc, you should fly into training.
A very he turned up for the All Ireland and the All Ireland final. He was here for 3 weeks.
That was an exception though. That was exception times. Like
he didn't fly into every game Mayo played. He flew home for like 3 or 4 matches a year.
Yeah, but that was every game.
He'd come home for 2 or 3 weeks and he'd play.
No, if you look, he done an
awful lot. Oh, you're fucking romantic. That's what it is. He's just like flying home 15 times a year for the love of his county. What a load of bollocks!
I'm fucking right.
Flying home from New York.
I'm gonna check that out.
Aer Lingus had a special jet for him.
How did he hold a job if he was flying home all the time in America?
Patience with him. Did I hear?
Which player used to get the boat over from Valencia Island? Was that Mick O'Dwyer?
I don't know.
Yeah, he used to.
I think so. Yeah.
He rowed. He used to row the boat. He used to row the boat from the island to the mainland.
Oh, he was knackered. He was knackered by the time he got over.
I think it was Mick O'Dwyer.
No, he used to build the boat first, and then he used to row the boat.
Yeah,
but different boat.
Yeah, Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark was actually from Valencia to Kerry.
All for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, I am a romantic in all aspects of life, especially at the GAA.
Yeah, but no, I think honestly, I think he used to did row from the island. Actually, joking aside, he did. Yeah.
It's it's not a debate that's got like there's no easy answers to this because the problem with the GAA is, and it's not that the GAA hasn't changed before, but people don't want the Sunday game to change. They don't want the format of the games to change. They don't want to like. There's lots of people like, and I'm not saying because you would accept a fairer game.
Oh, I would, of course, yeah. I mean,
That's the key to it. Everyone wants the same thing. Even Pat Gilroy the last day, he wants it to be fair. He wants the GAA to thrive. He doesn't want Dublin having a monopoly on All Ireland and Leinster titles. That's not. It's not fair on players around the country that are given 100% in training a couple of times a week to better themselves and try and make county panels. But the way it's going, it's a joke. It is an absolute joke. Yeah, and something has.
Yeah.
Because in 15 years' time, the game is going to be fucking a waste of time altogether.
I don't know about that. I think there'd be always people playing. Do you know what I mean? The club championship might take over if the thing dies down. The club championship, and maybe the club championship has been neglected the last few years. Do you know what I mean?
That's true, Pete, yeah.
I don't know, but like you look at someone like Kula, like a team that came out of nowhere to win the club championship. Like a Dublin team hadn't won the club hurling championship before. Kula go and win it twice in 3 years.
And
that, like, I'm not saying that.
I do think it got a boost this year because it was the only football that was going on. It was the only football that was going on over the late summer, the club championships.
Oh yeah.
So it did get, and the fact that Ball and Mayo here beat the favourites, Calciumar, but give it a boost again.
That was good crack.
Yeah, good crack.
No,
Yeah.
it's like the only thing is that if you see Dublin teams, Dublin teams have had a lot of wins.
Oh, and the seniors, it was not more. Sorry.
In the club championships, if you look at the club championships, Dublin have almost dominated that as well. Vincent's won a couple of titles.
Yeah, but haven't Corofin won it?
Ballymont Kickham's won it. Corofin won a couple of titles.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that it's not competitive, but Dublin have some clubs that would beat most of the inter-county teams around the country as well. So,
that is true. Yeah.
You know, if you look at
I'm not saying they don't have the players. Of course they have the players. They probably have 4. They probably do have 4 inter-county teams.
They have 5. They have 5 players for every player that Mayo has.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, there's only 15 can be on the pitch. That's and that's what we have to get through to the other teams.
16. What is it? 16, including the ref.
Yeah, they have 16. We have 15.
No, I don't believe that either. Remember this much as well. We've only been beaten by a point twice.
Yeah. By
Dublin in an All-Ireland final. We drew against them twice. Twice it's gone to replay in the last few years.
And both those, or one of those times, there was only a point in the difference as well.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying Mayo have no chance. I'm saying the opposite. I think if there's a year for them to do it, see, the way Mayo have been scoring freely, the way their forward line is going, like the addition of some really good young players that have given us a lot more energy running through the team. The likes of Rockland was excellent the last.
Yeah.
Oshie Mullen.
Yeah, I don't know what final it was, but do you remember the Dublin players the last few seconds actually rugby tackling the Mayo players to the ground to stop them? Do you know what I mean?
That was 2017.
Yeah,
nobody ever mentions that being the best teams of all time. They never mention that. They never mention spoiling games, because to have to be the best, you have to spoil games.
If Mayo go into it and they're a couple of minutes up, I hope they spoil the fuck out of it.
Yeah, at that stage I wouldn't care.
If they
No. I'm not saying they're wrong to do it, but I'm just saying
we were accused.
There's a bit of
in 2016 and 17. We were accused of professional fouling.
Yeah,
professional fouling, but they all do it. All the good teams do it. You know.
I think this year though we brought a more exciting style of football, and I do think the interjection of, as I said before earlier, Kieran MacDonald has a lot to do with that. I think that that pick your pass quick, move it quick, make space.
They've been excellent to watch. They've been really exciting, and they were really exciting against Tipperary, even though they took their foot off the gas for the last 15 minutes, and they showed a few weaknesses that Dublin are going to try and exploit. And hopefully in the intervening time that James Horan can come up with a way of playing against Dublin that's going to keep us in the game the last couple of minutes, and we just we get over the line this year.
Yeah.
He's not going to play a sweeper though, is he? He's not going to change it up too much. He's only got
I wouldn't mind
less than 2 weeks.
The way Tipperary ran through us, I wouldn't mind us playing the sweeper.
Yeah, I do think we need
someone an solid.
I'd love,
not for the whole game, but for especially the first 15 minutes, that of each half to try and drag them into a bit of a battle. Have that extra man as a running sweeper, someone that's going to get turn over the ball and get.
Who are they going to put in there? McLaughlin. There's talk of McLaughlin going in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of a waste because he's great at passing the ball. It's kind of a waste because he's great at passing the ball into the forwards.
I was going to say, would you ever bring Aidan O'Shea back to the full backs?
No. I think the one thing about Aidan O'Shea is that
Rochford did that though. Rochford did that.
Yeah,
but he didn't do it when he should have done it against Kieran Donaghy when they brought him on against Kerry.
He did. That's what he did. He marked Kieran.
That's when he did do it.
Not the Throne game.
Not in the drawn game. The
But
second.
because Kieran Downey only came on in the last 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Then he scored.
off.
But he scored the goal first.
Yeah, and then he got sent off.
He scored the goal first. It was too late then.
Delighted. That was a fucking great day.
No, that was a different game. I'm
That
talking
was
about
the day he did. O'Shea did mark him for that.
Yes, and took him out. We won that game.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the semi-final.
Oh, in Limerick.
Yeah, no, the one before the Limerick, the actual drawing game.
Right.
John, he came on with 15 minutes to go. We were 4 points up with about 10 minutes left, and he went into obviously full forward. That was the time to we were 4 points up. That was the time to put Aidan O'Shea on him, bring him back, because he threatened to score a couple of goals. They were sending in high balls to him, and eventually he was going to get one of them. That was the time when he threatened that 2 or 3 times. That was the time to bring Aidan O'Shea back. I thought it was the obvious thing to do. And next thing, eventually, bang, got the goal. And then we ended up drawing that game. And then we went down to Limerick and we lost by a point.
Yeah,
again
in extra time.
In extra time.
Well, they should have never went down to Limerick.
And we should never have gone up to Newbridge either that year. Just for the record.
Well, you can't be. That's not as big of a bowl of contention. Do you know what I mean?
That was because Kildare wanted to play in their home ground.
Yeah, you can't begrudge them playing their whole ground. Like, do you know what I mean? You can't. That's just sour grapes. If you're they're trying to get the money for the town. Like, do you know what I mean?
But the thing is, Kildare have been pumped in with money. They were pumped in with money the years before that, and they wasted it.
Yeah, but
their biggest pitch only holds 10,000.
Yeah, but like they have a population and they've definitely wasted money.
They have to.
But if you compared the amount of money they have compared to the way Dublin have developed their teams through the same type of funding, it's astronomical how much more money Dublin have than Kildare.
Yeah, I'm not saying Dublin don't have the money. Obviously they do. Obviously it's making some sort of difference. But I think Dublin have always had more money than everyone else. It's just the way it's.
Well, that's true too. That's true.
Always had more money. They've always had twice as much.
And is that ever going to change? Is that ever going to change?
How can it? They have the population. They have a third of the population of the country, and they've always had the third of the population of the country.
Yeah, it's like there's.
Unless we go around shooting Dublin people.
That might happen.
Right.
Actually, we have to make a video, Pete. We have to make
just for the GAA.
Yeah. Any chance you're coming down next week?
What are you asking him on the
podcast? I might. I'll see what the crack is.
Could I ask this anytime? You talk to him multiple times a day.
I just popped into my head.
What do you have?
Okay, lads.
I lost myself there.
Okay, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this, lads? We're digging the same trench over and over again. You know?
We're actually
we need to
visit the GAA podcast again, but for now we are going to wrap it up because I have things to do, people to see.
It's no problem.
Leave it at that. So
yeah, I think so. So what is the general?
Yeah.
What is the general predictions for the match, Steve?
Oh, I'm gonna. My heart says Mayo. My head says if Dublin can. If Dublin can get a couple of goals, which they are going to get. I put it to you this way: this is Mayo's free shot at Dublin, but I'm not. It's the first time I've ever gone into an All Ireland with no hope. With little hope. But I'm telling myself that as well, because how many times have you seen me going up to Dublin and coming down with my tail between my legs?
Well, at least you won't have to go to Dublin this
time. At least I won't have to go to Dublin this time.
Just have to go into your bedroom
and my bank account is thanking me for not having to fucking travel to Dublin 5 or 6 times in the year.
Yeah.
I'd say
that's it too.
Yeah, it's an expensive love to have.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think?
I think Mayo are going to be going into the 70th minute, a point down, and they're going to win by 2.
Going to win by 2 points.
I think Cillian O'Connor is going to.
I hope so, Chris.
I think Cillian O'Connor is going to hit a 2 frees in the 73rd or 74th minute, and that'll get us over the line.
Oh my God! I will literally just
See, you're starting to
Go
get a
nuts.
bit of hope now.
Look, I'll always. I'll say that. And the thing is, the funny thing is, and I hope we do another GAA podcast before the game.
Oh, we will, yeah.
The thing is, leading up to the game, I get more and more hope. And the day of the All Ireland, I'll convince myself that Mayo are going to win. And I know this, and this is the way it always works.
Pete, what's your prediction?
The only thing is, like I'm a bit like Steve as well. I don't want to get emotionally invested because it's almost like you're heartbroken at the end. You know what I mean? It's almost like you'd wish you didn't watch it in a way. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to care. You know. But I hope it's competitive. I hope we don't end up being like Tipperary. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I remember. I think it was
that could happen. That could happen because
it happened to us twice against Kerry in the early 2000s.
I think it was the 2016 All Ireland final. I was sitting there with Tommy Byrne.
Yeah.
And after the game, like the double, like it was last. You know when Dean Rocky kicked that point.
That was 17.
Right, was 17.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Kicked that point, and afterwards, I didn't even look. All the Dublin fans were cheering. I just stormed out.
Yeah.
Coming out of the canal end, I was like,
I was in the canal end for that too.
were you?
Yeah.
I was like stormed out. Anyway, I was devastated altogether. And there was a little kid, like a little Scobie Dublin kid, like pointing, laughing at me, like, ha, fucking, like really vivid visions of myself going over and booting him into the canal.
I had a different experience.
I was like, I did a lot to contain myself from fucking throwing that child into the canal that day because I was.
I was sat in the canal, and you know how I was in one of the middle seats in the middle of an aisle. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know how the aisles are broken up into squares, but I was in the middle. Like, you couldn't have got any more central in the block, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I had like eight or nine chairs to me that way. I had 8 or 9 chairs to me that way. Same with the front and back. And everyone had left, and I literally just sat there. I couldn't believe that. It was a great game. Probably one of the best games I'd ever watched live. I just sat there and motionless. And the amount of Dublin people that actually made the trip over, walked across the seats to actually say, listen, buddy, feel your pain. It was a great game. Could have went anywhere. You'll be back again next year. But I've heard that like many times now. But
yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Lovely. Not one of them, like it was lovely. Yeah. So like there isn't a rivalry between Mayo and Dublin fans, and it's a friendly rivalry, I think. I like the Dublin fans.
Well, so what's your prediction, Pete?
Yeah, I think Mayo will do it. I think I'm going to go with Mayo. I'm going to stay positive.
That's it.
Mayo will do it, yeah.
I hope the two of you are right. And
Mayo will do it. Mayo will win it by 5 points.
That'd be amazing.
Right, okay. I'm actually going to stick a fiver on that.
Okay. So, sticking a fiver on a 5 point.
Yeah, I'll see what the price of that is. I'll stick a fiver on that in Petty Power today.
Excellent. Okay.
That was the GAA podcast. It started off as an Agony Uncas podcast, but turned into a GAA podcast.
Okay.
We start talking about GAA, as I'm sure happens with a lot of people. It just spirals. I mean, we used to get TJ Kilgallen, who used to play for Mayo, to start talking about talking about the GAA at the beginning of an English or a maths class.
What was the score in the 1985 Connacht final there, TJ?
And once he got started,
I think every year knew that. And he used that trick. The whole day, all he did was talk GAA.
Yeah, so that's just the way GAA is in Mayo. Listen, guys, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our Dead Hedgehogs YouTube channel, and if you can at all, become a member of our Patreon, and that would be much appreciated. Until next time, take care.
Good luck.
Brilliant, guys. Brilliant. Good stuff, lads. And up Mayo.
Absolutely. Mayo for Sam.